Hey, g'day everybody and welcome back to Starcub Review. I'm your host as always, Starcub. Hey, how are ya? So, on today's agenda, I have a good one for you. Me and my husband just went and saw a 2024 horror film, which we had no idea had dropped into the cinemas at all, but I had seen the trailer for this and I had seen posters for it and stuff like that, but didn't realize that it had released into theaters, and that is Hell of a Summer, which is directed by Finn Wolfhard and Billy Brick, with their film debut, and both of them wrote and directed it together, so that's their film debut. But before I get into that, I just want to say a big huge thank you to everyone new to my channel that's watching my videos. Thanks so much, I really do appreciate it. Everyone returning, you know I all love and appreciate you. Let the credits roll by, and then I will see you after that. Okay, hey everybody, I am back. So, today's movie review is on a horror flick called Hell of a Summer. What do I think of it? What did me and the hubby think of it? You'll just have to wait and see. So this is the film debut of both Finn Wolfhard and Billy Brick, both writing it and directing it together. Production companies were 30 West, and it was distributed by Neon. Now, this particular slasher film is meant to be a homage to everything that came before, whether that be 2000s horror, 90s horror, 80s horror, 70s horror. There's a mix. But this is mainly Gen Z's take on a slasher flick. And man, do we have a lot to say today about this film, because as great, as fun as it was, Hell of a Summer does have a lot of flaws. It has a lot of flaws, a lot of script issues and character development issues that I feel really needed to be a lot tighter in this film. Like the general plot of this film is there's a bunch of people. It follows a group of camp counselors that are spending the summer at a camp called Camp Pineway. And the counselors, and they're waiting for the campers to come. But during that time, they're targeted by a mysterious devil masked killer. And then, all hell breaks loose as we follow them along in the film. Now, you would think that this is great and dandy and it's gonna be great. Now, there are some really genuine funny moments in this, but where I have the biggest issue with Finn Wolfhard and Billy Brick's take on a slasher film that's basically Gen Z's take on a horror film, I think they did a somewhat of a great job, but at the same time, they failed their audience. Not to mention, majority of the kills that is done at Camp Pineway, Camp Pineway, sorry, not Camp Pineway, it's Camp Pineway. My bad. Oh my god, this is how funny this is. So, the general, the killings, the kills, most of them are done off screen, where you see blood splatter here or blood splatter there, or it'll give you a red herring here or red herring there, and suddenly out of nowhere, here comes the scary crescendo music, and then bam, the killer's right there, and the next minute you hear a scream, and then we cut to a next scene and something like that. So the killings are mainly done off stage, except for towards the middle of the film, towards the end of the film, there's a pretty gruesome death, but by today's standards, it's not that gruesome. Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer and that did better death scenes, way better death scenes. Even Evil Dead, all of that, they did way better death scenes. This is really tame compared to a lot of other horror movies out there that go really hardcore with their death scenes. And the fact that this movie got an R rating with a couple of F words in there, a couple of sexual innuendos, so just to add that in, and then Gen Z's constant intake of jokes that don't land very well and don't land with the horror when it should land with the horror. So when there's a killing on or something like that, or someone screams or whatnot, you know, one of the bloody Gen Z characters has to come out with a Gen Z joke and it doesn't land. It really doesn't land. So the movie stars Finn Wolfhard, Billy Brick, Abby Quinn, Fred Hechinger, and DeFaro Woon Atai. That's a mouthful. So, the majority of these characters are extremely unlikable. Extremely unlikable. Majority of them we wanted dead. Right from when we started watching this film, me and my husband were adamant. Majority of them are annoying, just twits. They are just awful characters. They're annoying. Right off the bat, we just wanted them dead. The only standout in this film, which is very sad, considering it's a good start for Finn and Billy, both directing and writing the script together. But I feel like the only standout in their script was Jason, the character Jason Hochberg, played by Fred Hechinger. And he was the standout. He's also been in Prom Night, not Prom Night, he was also in Fear Street, the 3 Fear Street films on Netflix. He was in that. He's also been in other stuff as well, and he was the standout in this film. I really liked Jason. He's the most likable character and the one you're rooting for. Everyone else, you just wanted to die or were just so annoying. And it was just sad that so many of these Gen Z jokes didn't land. It was all based on Gen Z isms, which was kind of really annoying, because I feel like they were trying to make the characters likable and funny, but they just came off real dumb and stupid. They do dumb shit through this film. Oh my god, do they do dumb shit. There's trope after trope after trope after trope, just the same tropes that every other film has tried mingling in with their films. Like, you know, there's the stupid blonde that screams, or there's a stupid blonde chick that is so dumb and stupid. There's the pretty girl, there's the goth girl, there's the black girl or the black guy. There's, you know what I mean? There's trope after trope after trope after trope in this film, and it didn't quite know where it was going with all the characters, how they were playing out. Not to mention the fact that you don't show any of the kills off in all its glory detail. It was a very big missed opportunity. And one of the biggest pet peeves that me and my husband had in this film is the fact that the killer or killers got revealed too early. And it kind of sucked the fun out of a huge ass twist. Now, don't get me wrong, does the twist land? Yeah, because we didn't see it coming, but at the same time, the motive behind the killer or killers reason why they're killing the people off is like, wow. It was just like, like, really? That's your excuse? Like, really lame and stupid. It's not like some in-depth, it was just some really lame bullshit. And it really doesn't land. And then, not to mention that some of the way the characters were interacting, it was awkward, it came off real bad, and it just made all the characters just seem like just assholes and pricks. And it really did have some funny, genuine parts in it. When you know the joke, and it's like, oh my god, that is hilarious. But other than that, I think they tried too hard with trying to inject so much nostalgia and, you know, callbacks to other films, you know, especially from 80s. I mean, Camp Pineway, hello, Friday the 13th, anybody? Like, Camp Counselors, Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th did that, and so did Camp Sleepaway. Sleepaway Camp, you know, Camp Sleepaway Camp did such a good job at their kills, and they were graphic, and so did Friday the 13th. But this film, it really didn't deserve its R rating. I mean, it felt more like a PG-13 movie, and that's kind of sad. In the fact that it was great to see the film debut and the script and everything like that, but it needed to be tighter, it needed to be fierce, it needed to be quick on its ball, it needed to be really like just on the ball with its jokes, and injecting horror and comedy into it at the same time. I feel like in some spots it failed miserably, and at the end of the day, the only person we ended up really liking in the film was Jason Hochberg, played by Fred Hechinger. Hechinger, yes. And he was fantastic. Everyone else, and I'm surprised, Finn Wolfhard, as great of an actor as he is, he's an amazing actor. His character came off like an asshole too. Like a real asshole. He plays Chris. And Billy Brick, his best friend, because they both wrote and directed it together, he plays Bobby. And even the character of Bobby was a prick, an asshole. They all were. They were just, I think they were trying to lean into so many of the characters being dumb and stupid and doing all the stuff that you would do in a horror film from the 80s, early 90s, and even some 2000s movies, 2000s horror, where they were trying to inject so much creativity in there. It just felt completely flat because majority of it was full of Gen Z stuff. I mean, I got all the Gen Z stuff, but when I knew they were doing Gen Z stuff, like they were going to start with a joke or something like that, I picked up on it and went, that's a Gen Z joke. But no, it didn't land. And I feel like they really should have tightened the script a lot more and made the killers a lot more interesting. The killers were boring, like really, really boring. And it's sad to see that in a film like this, because I'd heard, you know, about Finn doing this, and I really, really, really was interested in seeing how his film debut is. And it's great. Don't get me wrong. But there were so many flaws in the script and the characters and the film itself, and I think it could have had a lot more to it. And if you're going for nostalgia as well, you could have used some really awesome classic 80s tunes, 70s tunes, even 90s and 2000s tunes to get people in the mood, to get people in the mood and like really enjoying this film for the soundtrack. I mean, yeah, I think it was a good attempt, and it's a good movie, don't get me wrong. I think people will like it. It does land on some of the stuff, and at the end of the day, it's just a fun, silly, stupid, cheesy horror flick at the end of the day. What do I rate it out of 10? I would give it a 7. A 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. It's a great first attempt, but the movie does have a lot of flaws. And I'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, I have 2 links down below. One for my Instagram, one for my TikTok. And I have my email in the description as well if anyone wants to ask me any questions, ask me about other videos. They want to see what they want to ask me what is coming up next, or give me some suggestions. Please give me an email. But other than that, thanks so much, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to click the like button, the subscribe, and notification bell to keep up to date with all my content. And I will see you all very soon. All right, guys. Ciao.